Hey, welcome back to Death Engineering Plays Race into Space. We are entering, I think it was fall of 1964? It's been a few days. Let's load things up and see what we find. All right, we are in fall of 1964. We're looking forward to see what Carter Walkwright has to say.
Good evening. Developments in the news today. Senator Crutchmeyer sharply attacked the space program today. Speaking before the Senate, he accused space officials of lavish spending and strongly urged funding cuts. And that's the news. I'm Carter Walkwright.
That is definitely not very sporting there of Senator Crutchmeyer. We shall lobby strongly against him in his congressional district. Astronauts in the news? Ooh, Gordon has retired. All right, well, we're down one astronaut. Wood graduated from advanced training. So we have Wood, who is in advanced training, going to be sitting here in the astronaut complex, but we don't really have anywhere to put them. Okay, well, let's check on our astronauts here in the Gemini program. We have Grissom and Shepard looking great. Lovell and Crossfield, good. Crossfield looking a little nervous, so we need to fly Crossfield. He's gonna bolt on us. His backup crew this turn, and then Stafford are available on the primary crew this turn. So we do have this mission here, and well, we'll go ahead and get our hardware purchased for this. Okay, we do have our lunar flyby mission already purchased. Our orbital. What do we have here? We have an orbital duration level C and no EVA, doesn't look like. Okay, we have our Gemini ready to go, a Titan ready to go. We'll go ahead and assign this. And we are down to 3 megabucks. We really don't have any money to invest in R&D this round, I don't think. Kicker not started. Yeah, we kind of know that from last time. Is it going to keep showing that? What it's talking about there is that we have a kicker A and a kicker B. And what these two here will give the two different types of spacecraft that are alternate to the typical Apollo command module, because the Saturn V has basically a built-in kicker on its third stage. Um, so it doesn't really need its own kicker. But there are other programs, for example, if you do a Gemini mission where you do Gemini landings on the moon, you'll definitely need this. And if you use the mini shuttle to do a moon mission, you need this type of a kicker, which basically a kicker does is provides all the delta V necessary to carry a generally non-lunar capable mission all the way out to the moon. So that's kind of what a kicker does. We're not aiming on doing that kind of a mission. We're kind of aiming at the standard Saturn V, Apollo 3 crew with 2 crew down on the moon. But you know, things in this game can sometimes change. So if we have to replan things, we'll keep this Kicker A, Kicker B booster program on the back shelf for now. We actually can spend the last 3 megabucks we have here on researching our flyby Ranger satellite. Let's go ahead and do that. We still haven't purchased Surveyor probe. We're going to need to do that because we need to capture as much information we can about the moon in order to make it a successful landing. Okay, so we've spent all the money we have this season. We want to plan some missions. Oh wait, we need to schedule our flyby and our orbital duration mission. What we need to do is examine our booster program here. So we're at 66%. This has got a long ways to go. I'm not entirely thrilled about trying to fly these with a crewed mission initially. So what we're basically we're basically looking at here is that we need to get some docking going. So what we're going to do is we're going to do... So the joint unmanned orbital docking is going to give us both the safety factor and the flexibility on the crafts that we select, because we haven't really researched the boosters sufficiently, and I don't want to try flying the boosters with a crewed mission as their first launch. So we're going to break the boosters in on a later mission, and instead we're going to lock up both of our primary and backup launch pad on a joint orbital docking mission. So let's see what this mission looks like. Starting off from the launch, orbital insertion burn, hardware power on. Now what this does here, the initial launch, is basically launching the Agena docking probe, or the Agena target docking module. The Agena is basically a satellite with a docking port attached, and it has some control thrusters on it, and it has some navigation on it as well, I believe. And the advantage here by launching in Agena is that it will stay in orbit for one extra turn beyond when it's launched. So we'll be able to launch the Agena and then attempt to dock with it with our first mission, and then we're going to also leave the Agena up there and try to dock with it again on the following season. So we don't have to launch a second Agena in order for us to have it up there in orbit to dock with. That's kind of handy. It saves some time and some megabucks, but does require some planning in order to have that Agena docking module in orbit when you need it. So that's what the hardware power on is, and then after it's powered on, we do have the second launch. This will be the crew. Orbital insertion burn. You can see here they've achieved quite a high orbit here in order to rendezvous. Earth orbital activities, and then the docking. If the docking is a success, we're going to be pretty happy with that. Since it's unmanned, it would not deorbit. The Gemini will be basically left there and not even need to come down since it's an unmanned. And of course, the Agena will be up there for next season. So we'll go ahead and set that up. That will take up 2 launch pads, but then we're going to also set up a manned orbital docking. We'll target that Agena that we just launched, and we do have a docking expert in Jim Lovell and Crossfield as a backup pilot. So we're going to get Crossfield up on this next season here, and that'll get him also achieving some pretty high prestige with a docking mission. Make him the primary. And in case anything should go squirrely, we'll have Armstrong and Conrad here as our backup. They'll take the Gemini up and attempt to dock with the Agena if for some reason our primary crew cannot. That gets all of our missions assigned for next season. So let's go ahead and launch our 2 missions here that are out on the pad. We have our lunar flyby first.
Hold down till thrust builds up. 11. Engine ready light on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Engine sequence start. 1, 0. Launch commit. Launch commit.
Right, we have a good launch.
All engines building up thrust.
Orbital insertion burn success. Okay. Looking for a good TLI here. All right, TLI success. What do we have here? Mid-course correction burn success. And planetary activities. We get another successful lunar flyby. We're getting some excellent photographs of the moon. We're going to have a really good idea where we need to land. Yeah, we kind of thought this might be coming there. They've developed that N1 rocket. It seems they've had a little more success within the actual Soviet. They're basically making kind of a mad dash to the moon using what appears to be two crew. It doesn't say here that it's a two crew, but we're assuming that it must be because we haven't seen anyone achieve a three crew mission yet. We don't know how successful they are in any kind of a landing program, but we're definitely in a heated space race here. Well, we'll continue on with our orbital duration mission here in Gemini.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
Okay, we have a good liftoff.
We have liftoff. Liftoff at 7:51 a.m.
Orbital insertion burn, excellent. And we can see here the crew have contributed a little bit to make sure we got that off correctly. With orbital activity, success, excellent.
Cases go. Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Oh, looks like we have some duration problems. Let's hope it's nothing that's going to cause any issues with the mission. Crew sickness forces duration tend to be cut short. Okay, well, we do have crew sickness on our Gemini. We're going to go ahead and have to bring him down.
How do you stand? I go, flight. Roger, Capcom, we're go.
Okay, burn is successful. Let's go ahead and watch for the shoots.
Roger, is the drogue holding off? Roger, drogue looks good. Roger, re-entry checklist complete. Standing by for main at 10. Roger.
Okay, shoots have deployed. Looks like we have a successful recovery. We did have a successful mission. We did earn the 1 prestige point, but we didn't get that duration mission up. And they've go ahead and achieved a Mercury flyby. Well, you know, that's excellent. Good for you guys. Yeah, we get it. You're kicking our butts.
Good evening. Developments in the news today. An astronaut can no longer participate in the space program. The individual was seriously injured while playing touch football. And that's the news. I'm Carter Wolf.
Ron Glenn was playing football, and now he's out of the space program. McCandless was also injured during training. What do we have here? So Glenn, of course, being out, has left Carpenter with no teammate. Luckily, we do have Wood there in the lobby of the Astronaut Training Center. And McCandless was injured during training, but it doesn't sound like they're out. Well, let's see how things are looking here. We have Carpenter and Wood. We need to transfer them into Gemini. Get them into a flight crew here. As you know, we have Wood, who's basically a very well-trained pilot with docking expertise. We do want to get them up and running as quick as possible because they look like they're kind of running out of patience here. Carpenter not too happy about being kicked out of his flight crew from the retirement of Glenn. We have a lot of unhappy crew here. We're running into some opposition in our Congress. We're hoping for a turnaround in our luck here pretty quick. We have an option here to attempt to fly the docking module on a boosted Atlas. Get those boosters researched as quick as possible. Get them to the next level. So we're going to put 10 megabucks in. That's going to get them up to 81. So it's nearly the maximum R&D. And they're now in the green. So they're reporting back from design that they're ready to fly. All right, well, let's go ahead and take them at their word. as we are looking into some budgetary problems, we may need to have to start taking some risks in our assemblies. So we are able to lift the docking module on an Atlas. We don't even need to use a boosted Atlas there, actually, so we'll go ahead and purchase that. The unmanned orbital docking, we can run it on the nice and steady, reliable 98% Titan. If we decided to use a boosted Atlas, it brings it down to 79%. That's pretty surprising. I'm not sure I want to even take that chance. So let's stick with the Titan here. We do have one in stock also as well, so that's going to help. We'll purchase our Gemini. And then we have one more. Now we don't need to send the docking module up because it's going to be up there, so we can actually toggle this. Well, we'll go ahead and assign the hardware. Boosted Titan, there we go. So now that we purchased the hardware, can we change this here from orbital docking? Earth orbital, suborbital, orbital docking. So we don't have an option here to change it from an orbital docking to a... Well, there's got to be another version of that mission that implies the use of the Agena from the previous launch. So that's too bad. We might have botched something here. Well, let's just go out and look and see what we really should have selected. So what was the mission we should have selected there? That one here, manned orbital docking orbit. Orbit here basically says there's already something in orbit. So we botched that, but that's fine. We go ahead and not the docking module in orbit. They rely on being orbital ready. A docking module currently in orbit will have ceased functioning by the time this mission launches. So in order to fly this, you will have to either launch a docking test this turn, which we are, or schedule a docking test for next turn that will launch before this mission. You want to proceed? Yes, we do. This is text that was never in the original Race into Space because the manual covered it, but yeah, this is pretty handy that it talks about the fact that yes, you need to have all this stuff. But we're going to do that, hopefully, this round. Alright, we're actually going to attempt a pretty ambitious mission here. We're going to stretch this out to a duration C. For area C here, we have the orbit, EVA, yeah, and we're using Crispin Shepherd, White and Lusma as our backup. Alright, so we have orbital EVA duration. Let's make sure we have that hardware here. That'll be one of these. One of these. We have 67 megabucks left. We need to start moving on with our programs here. We have a choice. We can either start working on the Apollo capsule for 40. Or the Eagle for 30. R&D cost is 2 here, whereas on the Apollo it's 5. It costs a massive amount to research the Apollo. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and purchase the Eagle. Alright, Eagle. Our lander is purchased. We only have 37 megabucks left. We're not going to really afford to do any further research, I don't think. Go ahead and plan a couple of flybys here. We'll do our lunar flyby, get some more moon missions in the books, and we're also going to kind of throw the dice a bit, and they've done the Mercury flyby, so we're going to go for the, well, they've done a Venus flyby too. Yeah. An unmanned orbital docking. And even though it's going to be unmanned, it still gets you the prestige points for doing an accomplished docking. And we do need to do as many dockings as possible in order to get that percentage as high as possible. Because you can't research it, you only increase docking percentages by flying the missions. Okay, so we have purchased this hardware. We need to get the lunar flyby and the unmanned orbital docking purchases. There's our flyby. I believe we actually can unusually use the wrong kind of rocket. So what is this? 700. So 5 plus the boosters here. One of these, and we already have those in stock, so we don't even need to purchase them. Okay. So we do have some left over as far as R&D funds. We can't afford our Apollo mission yet, but we can throw in 10 megabucks here. Brings up our lander up to 33%. And let's bank the other 19 megabucks here because our budgets aren't doing super great. We need to have enough banked in so that when we get our next budget next spring in 1966, we have some money to spend in order to start move this 3-crew lunar program along because Gemini is lovely, but we need to get the Apollo flying. Okay, spring of 1965 has come to a close. Let's wrap up these launches. Whoa, okay, Prestige first, a manned lunar orbit. This is pretty huge. This combines several achievements here. So there's like a duration D, I think, and of course lunar experience, lunar photography. That's a huge step for them. I think they're still using 2-crew craft, however. We still have the 3-crew craft that we're going to try to get up and make this a real space race here eventually. But first, let's get this Agena up and hopefully achieve our first docking.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Okay, we have a good launch. And we have our Gemini 8. We have Gemini 8 already? Joint unmanned orbital docking success. So that earned us some prestige there, but we do earn some docking experience, I believe. Yes, up to 50%. So we're off now to a orbital docking attempt here. This means we're going to be flying the Titan with a booster. 50% chance in that docking, only a 79% chance in that Titan with booster.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have commit. We have liftoff.
Oh, excellent. We have
7:51 a.m.
a
Eastern
boosted
Standard Time.
Titan. Successful launch. Okay. Orbital insertion burn. Okay. We are successfully in orbit.
I want you to send a message to the director, or to the commandant, U.S. Marine Corps, telling him my 4 hours required flight time in for the month.
It's a good one there, getting his 24 hours of flight time in for the month. Hardware power on. Okay, we have the Agena docking module in target.
25, amps 26.
Docking success. Okay, so we have a unmanned orbital docking and a manned orbital docking in the same season. So we have and a successful deeper burn. I thought there might be some duration in there. I thought I put that in, but that's fine. We're getting a successful deorbit burn.
Roger, is the drogue holding on? Roger, drogue looks good.
Okay, re-entry is looking good. Looks like a nominal recovery landing. Okay, that was an amazing end to that season. So even though we had the setback of the Soviets pulling off that manned lunar orbital, they are using the N1 with a 2-crew. They don't have achieved any docking, I don't believe. I don't believe we've seen that yet. We're doing some small steps, but we're making progress along the way. We'll be retiring our Gusmobile here shortly. Looks like they're having a great time floating around there. So we have mission duration A with 4 points of prestige earned thanks to our manned docking, our second effort on that. A success. Okay, well, this is a great place to wrap it up. We are at the beginning of fall of 1965. We have a pretty light season for fall 1965, but moving into spring of 1966, we need to start moving on our 3 crew craft. We might be looking at starting to build that Saturn V here pretty soon too. All right, we're going to wrap it up for now, but thanks a lot for tuning in. Have an awesome day.